after getting drunk, mistakenly carried the campus beauty goddess home. One day, after getting drunk, Guu carried the equally intoxicated campus goddess back home. Upon waking up and seeing the goddess lying next to him, as beautiful as a flower, Guu swore he would win her back and bring her home for good. Chapter 1: A stunning goddess appears beside him. Such a nice scent. Who's so inconsiderate to release poison while I'm still asleep? In a small, somewhat old but unexpectedly clean and tidy rental apartment in a humble neighborhood, Guu muttered irritably. Lying on the slightly messy bed, he forced his tired, sticky eyes open and tried to move his stiff body. A soft, indescribable sensation made him shudder as if he'd been electrocuted. He quickly turned his head. Before his eyes was a delicate, flawless face, even without any makeup. He was left dumbfounded by how beautiful the woman was. Wait, no. Why is there someone beside me? This is my place. I definitely didn't hire anyone. Where did this woman come from? Guu started to panic. His mind raced, piecing together fragments of last night's memories. Last night, he had gotten utterly wasted with that rowdy bunch, and on his way home, he had come across this beautiful woman, also drunk and dozing off against a streetlight. To prevent her from being taken advantage of, he decided to carry her. He vaguely remembered intending to take her to the police station or a hotel, but somewhere along the way, she had gone berserk. And then, under the influence of alcohol, Guu, in a fit of frustration, brought her home, spouting nonsense about making her his bride. Crap! What have I done? Guu touched his lower back, feeling sore, and noticed that his boxers were gone. He didn't need to think twice, he knew he had crossed the line last night. It's over. His heartbeat skyrocketed as he listened to her breathing beside him. Tilder. A soft murmur escaped her lips, and her long lashes fluttered like the wings of a butterfly as she slowly opened her eyes. Because they were lying so close together, Guu could feel her rapidly accelerating heartbeat and rising body temperature. The atmosphere grew oddly charged. Both were awake, but neither dared to look the other in the eye. Oh. Ladies first, men first. After an awkward silence, Guu, feeling an urgent need to use the restroom, summoned the courage to speak. Unexpectedly, she spoke at the same time. After a brief pause, Guu mustered the courage again. I'm sorry. I'll take responsibility. Hearing his words, the previously flustered and nervous Mooninger calmed down. She studied his chiseled face, then let out a light laugh. Gracefully, she sat up and began to dress. After looking into Guu's eyes for a moment, she took a stack of red bills from her purse, placed them on the bedside table, and said in a mature tone, "Little brother, we're both adults, and we were drunk. Don't take it too seriously. You performed well last night, big sister will remember you, little Guu Tilder." With that, Mooninger slung her purse over her shoulder and left without a trace of regret. I've been teased. And she called me little. Guu felt indignant. He tossed the blanket aside, ready to chase after her, but then his eyes caught the sight of the crimson stains on the light blue checkered bedsheet. He gave up, sinking back onto the bed with a long sigh. What am I supposed to do now? But his bladder couldn't wait, so he rushed to the bathroom. After relieving himself and taking a shower to clear his head, he stood at the sink brushing his teeth, trying to make sense of it all. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the apartment complex, Mooninger was also in a daze. She glanced back at the old yet lively apartment building, her emotions a tangled mess. Truthfully, last night, she hadn't been completely drunk. The alcohol and the constant boasting of her friends about their boyfriends had gotten to her, making her feel a bit impulsive. On top of that, the man who found her was someone she had secretly admired during her university days. Her emotions spiraled out of control. What have I done? As she walked, Mooninger felt uneasy. As the top beauty and head counselor at Zhongyuan University for 4 consecutive years, she had suitors lined up from the Yellow River's source to its mouth. Yet, on a whim, she had given herself away so easily. Even worse, she felt like she benefited from it. Especially when she saw Guu's puppy-like eyes as she teased him, she had the urge to scream. But this was just a wild, one-night fling. It couldn't become anything more, or it would only bring trouble for both of them. After all, Guu had forgotten her. Sighs echoed from 2 different places. Guu, freshly showered, stared at his reflection in the mirror before returning to the bedroom. He picked up the pink wallet left behind on the bedside table, opened it, and found an ID card with a photo. The woman in the picture looked stunning, even in the typically unflattering ID photo. Even in a photo like this, she's beautiful. Mooninger, what a lovely name. Wait, is this a student card? Zhongyuan University, Literature Department, Year 1 Counselor. Mooninger. Wasn't she the campus goddess from back then? She had been crowned the top beauty at Zhongyuan University for 4 years in a row, raising the bar for the university's standards of beauty. He remembered when he and his dorm mates used to talk about her all the time during freshman year. 4 years had flown by so fast. Life had treated her well. She had looks, intelligence, and a stable job right after graduation. As for himself, it had been a year since he graduated, and he was still living paycheck to paycheck, with no steady job. There was no comparison. Ding, their carefree life system has been activated. Ding activation gift, you have obtained ownership of Chinfu Viller, a Night 15 vehicle, the recipe for traditional tea eggs, and a starting fund of 100,000 yuan. A system. Guu was in disbelief. He knew about systems from reading novels as a modern youth, but he'd never expected to encounter one himself. Though he had fantasized about it, the reality of it left him feeling entirely different. Forcing himself to stay calm, Guu sat down on the bed, which still smelled faintly of Mooninger, and called for the system. A natural themed list appeared before his eyes. The system was simple. Carefree life system. Host, Guu. Age, 24. Skills, driving, beginner, traditional tea egg making, master. Fixed assets, Chinfu Villa, Night 15. System, what functions do you have? The system interface was too simple. After staring at it for a while, Guu still couldn't figure it out, so he asked aloud. Complete related tasks to receive various rewards. Except for special tasks, all others are optional, just follow your heart. It seemed pretty straightforward. Guu raised an eyebrow and instructed the system to open the task panel. Chapter 2, set a small goal, win her heart. The system's task panel was as simple and straightforward as the rest. The first task was a special mission. Special mission, make Mooninger like you as much as possible. When her affection level reaches 60 points, the special mission reward will be unlocked. The reward is rich good luck. Fixed mission, restart the small restaurant affiliated with Chinfu Mountain Villa and complete the necessary paperwork to receive a recipe gift package, a food ingredients seed gift package, and a planting gift package. No time limit. Daily mission, exercise, run 10 kilometers daily to gain 1 point each in body enhancement, strength enhancement, and physique enhancement. Daily reading, read for 30 minutes to gain 1 point each in charisma and temperament enhancement. There were plenty of daily tasks. Some improved skill proficiency, while others enhanced personal charisma, looks, and intelligence. In short, if he put in the effort, he could eventually level up to become a well-rounded hexagon warrior. But he wasn't interested in completing every task. A leisurely life was about enjoying the things he loved, and one thing he truly loved was cooking. During holidays, he would often take the initiative to cook, and his family always praised his meals. Now that he had the chance to pursue something he enjoyed, he wouldn't pass it up. But first, he needed a small goal, win over the campus goddess. Of course, that was a long-term goal. You have to take things one step at a time. He understood that. Moving too fast might backfire. For now, he'd start by returning her wallet, and perhaps test the waters regarding her feelings. After all, as a man, having taken her most precious thing, he felt obliged to make some gesture. What should he bring along? Scratching his head, his gaze landed on the ancient tea egg recipe in the system. A confident smile spread across his handsome face. All things can be forsaken, except good food. Food is the key. With that thought in mind, he immediately got to work. After tidying up the bed and changing into fresh clothes, he headed out to the local market to buy ingredients for the tea eggs. The legendary Night 15, one of his system rewards, remained in his system space. He planned to summon it when the timing was right, but this bustling city wasn't the place for that. Besides, he wasn't one to flaunt his wealth or power unnecessarily. It felt too pretentious. He grabbed a shared bike on the roadside and made his way to the large farmer's market to pick up ingredients for the ancient tea eggs. The key ingredient for tea eggs was premium free-range eggs. It was just past 6 a.m., early enough to buy the freshest eggs. Parking his bike, he made a beeline for a trusted egg vendor he often visited. The shop had been selling eggs for over a decade, with fresh free-range eggs brought daily from the owner's family farm. The quality was top-notch, and the prices had remained consistent for 10 years come late, and there'd be none left. He arrived just in time to purchase 30 fresh eggs for 45 yuan, 1.5 yuan per egg. After grabbing the other necessary ingredients, like tea leaves and spices, he spent nearly 100 yuan altogether. He hurried back home and washed the eggs before boiling them. While the eggs cooked, he brewed a pot of tea and prepared a spice bag. Once the eggs were boiled enough to solidify their whites, he transferred them to cold water, then lightly cracked the shells to help them absorb the flavor. Though it was his first time making tea eggs, and he was still adjusting to their master chef skill, the process went smoothly. The smell of the tea eggs simmering in the broth was mouthwatering. Unable to resist, Gu cracked one open to taste. The egg white had a delicate brown hue, exuding a rich tea fragrance and the distinct aroma of the free-range eggs. One bite in, and he closed his eyes to savor the perfect flavor. It was leagues beyond the tea eggs from any breakfast stall. Though the eggs could use more time to absorb the marinade, Gu was confident that by noon, the flavor would be perfect. These tea eggs would surely help him get closer to Mooninger. By midday, the tea eggs were ready. He reheated them, packed 10 in a thermos with some of the marinade, and set off for Zhongyuan University. As a local, Gu could have chosen to attend an out-of-province school. But being close to home, Zhongyuan University was his top choice, and it held many fond memories for him. "Hey, it's you? A year since graduation, and you're already back for a visit?" The familiar voice of the campus security guard called out as Gu entered the university grounds. "Hey, Uncle Lee. Just visiting an old classmate, and thought I'd check in on my alma mater while healing from the bruises of the working world," Gu replied with a grin. "You go on then. We'll chat more when you're done." As Gu waved goodbye, Uncle Lee turned his attention to an outsider trying to sneak in. The guard was as spirited as ever, handling the troublemaker with quick efficiency. Watching the scene unfold, Gu smiled fondly, thinking, it's so relaxing to be back here. The student life really was the best. Making his way to the literature department, it didn't take long to find Mooninger. Her popularity was undeniable. With his good looks and charm, Gu easily got directions to her office from a helpful junior. Chapter 3, Oh no, he's here. Looking for Mooninger. Coincidentally, a counselor sharing an office with Mooninger overheard a very handsome young man inquiring about her. Intrigued, the counselor listened in and soon figured out who he was. After glancing at Gu, the counselor hurried back to the office, eyeing Mooninger, who was organizing student records. With a hint of envy, she remarked, "It's so nice to be as beautiful as you, Ms. Moo. You can just sit in the office without socializing, and people will come looking for you. Look at me, I've networked all over and still can't get a single high-quality man to confess to me. Boo-hoo." "Ms. Lee, stop teasing me," Mooninger responded with a wry smile, though her heart fluttered slightly. Unbidden, thoughts of Gu flooded her mind, especially since she had left her wallet on his bed. And when she recalled how she had left in the morning, a sense of disappointment washed over her. Surely, he must think of her as some reckless woman now. "Oh, by the way, that very handsome guy's name is Gu. He was once the campus heartthrob of Zhongyuan University," Ms. Lee said, scrolling through campus web pages and marveling at his photos. Her eyes sparkled. Gu had kept his good looks despite graduating over a year ago, still as handsome as ever. Gu. It really was him. Why did he come back to the school? He won't go spreading rumors about last night, will he? Suddenly, Mooninger's heart raced. Her face turned pale. Knock, knock, knock. The sound of someone knocking on the door echoed like a drum, sending Mooninger into a complete frenzy. He, the handsome guy has arrived. I'll just leave you two alone now." With a cheeky grin, Ms. Lee grabbed her bag, opened the door, and said teasingly, "Looking for Ms. Moo? Come right in." "Oh, thank you." Gu responded, slightly puzzled by her enthusiasm, but he still nodded politely. His gentle gaze soon landed on Mooninger. Oh no, oh no. He's really here. What does he want? Is he going to threaten me? Should I just give in? But wait, didn't he forget about me? Mooninger's thoughts spiraled out of control. She was so flustered she didn't dare to look up at Guu. These two, there's definitely something going on. Ms. Lee, with a knowing smile, sensibly shut the office door as she left. Ms. Lee, how could you close the door? You've trapped this poor little bunny in here with a big bad wolf. Mooninger's head was spinning. Oh. Here's your wallet. Guu handed the wallet to her, then placed a lunchbox on the table. His handsome face broke into a sunny smile. Actually, you could give me a chance, just a tiny one, to pursue you. Let me make up for everything by caring for you. Oh, and my contact info is on the lunchbox. Just give me a call after work, okay? That's it. Scratching his head, Guu turned and left the office. This first contact was enough just to show his intentions. Given what had happened, the fact that she didn't freak out and chase him away was a positive sign. There was no need to push too hard, it would only make things awkward. Patience and gradual steps were key, like boiling a frog in warm water. Did he just leave? Mooninger tilted her head, staring at the lunchbox and her wallet. Her cheeks flushed pink. She gently tapped the still warm box with her long fingers and pouted her lips. Recalling Guu's bright smile, she muttered softly, "Give you a chance, Hotilder." Guu's phone number was written on the lunchbox. Blushing, Mooninger saved it in her contacts, hugging her phone close to her chest for a while before cautiously opening the lunchbox. A mouth-watering aroma instantly wafted out. So fragrant. Mooninger's eyes sparkled like black gems as she gazed at the tea eggs sitting in rich broth. She couldn't help but swallow. Did he make this himself? In her 4 years in this city, she had explored every nook and cranny for food but had never encountered tea eggs with such an intense, delightful scent. Maybe just one bite. She touched her stomach. Since last night, it had been completely empty, and she had no strength left to go out for food. In the middle layer of the lunchbox, there were also 2 boxes of milk, one flavored, one plain, both warm. Guu had truly thought through every detail. This raised Mooninger's opinion of Guu even more. Attentive, gentle, handsome, sunny, considerate, and a great cook. He seemed to have it all. Tilder. It's so delicious. As the first bite of the tea egg melted in her mouth, a blissful smile spread across Mooninger's flawless face. She felt as though all her exhaustion had melted away. With a sip of milk, she felt like she was in heaven. This was the good life. This was living. If I really got together with Guu, would I have endless delicious food to eat? For someone who could make tea eggs this heavenly, his other cooking skills must be just as incredible. After eating 5 tea eggs in one go, Mooninger finally felt full. She looked longingly at the remaining eggs, but her stomach was already too full. Reluctantly, she covered the box and sighed, "I'll save these for later when I get hungry again." No rush, Tilder. Now full and content, Mooninger rested her chin on her hand, reminiscing about her first encounter with Guu. She giggled softly and doodled on her desk, wondering, what's Guu up to now? Is he serious about pursuing me, or is it just guilt driving him? She had once liked Guu. But now, they were no longer students. Life was no longer about carefree love. She had to think about her future and how to handle this carefully. Meanwhile, Guu wandered around campus, nervous, wondering if Mooninger would call him. He genuinely wanted to pursue her not just out of a sense of responsibility, but because something deeper inside resonated. That connection made him believe Mooninger could be the one to share his life with, to start a family with. It was a strange feeling but one he trusted. After strolling through the school and chatting with the gatekeeper for about half an hour, Guu finally headed home. For now, he wasn't planning to restart his small restaurant or apply for any permits. Those things could wait until he had a better rapport with Mooninger. Perhaps by then, he could even invite her to move in with him at Tianfu Villa. It was only an hour's drive away, no big deal. But, that was all just wishful thinking for now. If he really wanted to make that dream a reality, he knew he'd have to work hard. His parents always said, "We don't care how successful you are, as long as you find a wife, your life is halfway there." Chapter 4, The Little Swan is Too Forward. In the afternoon, Guu couldn't stop thinking about Mooninger, and his mind was unsettled. So, he spent the entire afternoon doing daily tasks, but they were all physical training exercises: 100 push-ups, 10 frog jumps, and so on. The system rewarded him with some attribute points, and the improvements were quite noticeable. His previously soft belly, due to being a bit lazy, had tightened into perfect 8-pack abs. By 5:30 in the afternoon, Guu wiped the sweat from his face and checked his phone. He felt somewhat disappointed. 5:30 was the time he had hoped Mooninger would call him, her final chance for the day. After 5 o'clock, it was self-study time at Zhongyuan University, and this was when advisors like Mooninger would typically be off work. If she hadn't called by 5:30, she probably wouldn't call at all. So, was it just a fleeting encounter after all? Guu sighed, feeling down. He went into the bathroom for a cold shower, washing away his feelings of self-pity. Just when he was drowning in his own emotions, his phone, left outside, rang. His eyes lit up as he rushed out and checked the screen. It was an unknown number. Without hesitation, he answered, "Hello." "Hello, young man," came a familiar teasing voice. The tone was playful, though the owner of the voice wasn't quite as commanding as it sounded. Mooninger, with a face as delicate as a ripe apple, was nervously sitting in her chair, hugging her legs while making the call. "Did you enjoy the food?" Guu's heart relaxed, and the conversation quickly turned casual. "It was great. I've never had such delicious tea eggs." Mooninger, who was already a bit of a foodie, was thrilled by his question. Any potential awkwardness was immediately dissolved by their shared love of food. "Is the tea egg your secret recipe?" she asked curiously. "Yes, you're the first to taste it." Guu, now sitting on his bed, wore a sunny smile that hadn't left his face as they discussed the recipe for tea eggs. Mooninger listened carefully but sighed after hearing the details, which puzzled Guu. "What's wrong?" he asked. "You explained it so well, but I still can't make it." "What a shame," she replied. Mooninger was genuinely a disaster in the kitchen, the type who could follow a recipe and still make a mess. "Well, if you want, I can make them for you every day," Guu said smoothly. But as soon as the words left his mouth, there was silence on the other end. Guu's heart sank. "Oh no, I went too far. I messed up," he thought. "Guu," she finally spoke after a long pause, her tone serious. "We're both adults. What happened after the drinks doesn't need to weigh on you. Your enthusiasm towards me feels a bit excessive. It almost makes me feel like you're in love with me, but it's not true love, it's just guilt. You don't need to feel guilty." Guu had been testing Mooninger, but wasn't she testing him too? She had harbored a crush on him for years, but she didn't want their relationship to be based on guilt from a one-time mistake. She wanted to know if his feelings for her were true love or just compensation. "Guilt is part of it," Guu admitted, "but I genuinely want you to be part of my family." Since the topic had come up, Guu decided to be honest. It was time to put all his cards on the table. "To be part of your family." This simple, straightforward statement, without any grand declarations or elaborate setup, struck straight at Mooninger's heart. It was more sincere than any confession. "Why though? We hardly interacted during school. Surely this isn't just attraction, right?" Mooninger teased, trying to calm her pounding heart. This man was so bold, so direct. He had completely thrown her off balance. Guu laughed softly. "It might sound childish, but you make me feel safe. Being with you makes me feel relaxed, comfortable, and warm. Even though this is the first time we've truly talked, I've already fallen for you. I want you to be my partner." His response was indeed childish, but it was also simple, pure, and filled with a sense of romance. "Did you know?" Mooninger began, twirling her chair and resting her arm on the windowsill as soft sunlight bathed her. Her eyes sparkled as she said, "I've had a crush on you for 4 years. The first time you helped me, I started liking you. But you never gave me a chance. No matter how much I flirted, you never responded. You were like an untouchable prince. The first time I helped you." Guu scratched his head. He honestly didn't remember, but when she mentioned flirting, it clicked. "Wait, your online name was I'm a Little Fairy." Mooninger confirmed with a small hum. "I gave you so many obvious hints. Why didn't you respond? And now you say you don't even know me." "Oh, well." Guu stammered. "Back when I helped chase away those annoying seniors, I didn't see your face. I wasn't trying to impress you, I was just helping someone in trouble. Plus, I'm a local here. Guu rubbed his nose, everything suddenly making sense. No wonder she seemed so provocative that night. What a twist of fate. The little swan had flown right into the toad's mouth. True, Mooninger giggled, remembering. I was wearing a mask that day. Suddenly, it all clicked for her too. No wonder Guu kept insisting he didn't recognize her. That day, she had worn an oversized mask that covered her entire face. It was such an awkward realization. Mooninger covered her face in embarrassment, feeling like a total fool. For whole years of longing and frustration, only to realize that he hadn't even seen her face. Mask. It's all your fault, she muttered to herself, almost ready to explode from the absurdity of it all. Chapter 5, That jerk, he actually threatened me. After a long while, Mooninger calmed down. She pouted, why didn't you remind me earlier? I've been flirting with you for 4 years for nothing. Do you know how frustrating that was? Hearing her playful complaint, Gu's heart softened. He smiled indulgently but helplessly, I thought the person was just using your photo to catfish me. Huh? Mooninger was amused and exasperated. Who would be that dumb? Wouldn't they be exposed as soon as we met? You're too naive and cute. Well, I figured since you're the campus goddess and I'm just a little nerd. HMPH tilde, Mooninger snorted, pretending to be serious again. Guu, I've had a crush on you for real, and I do like you. What about your feelings for me? I love you. Marry me. Guu responded decisively. At this point, it was time for a bold move. Without waiting for her to reply, he added, if you're worried, we can get married first and then start dating. HMPH, do you think I'm dumb? Mooninger snorted proudly. If I marry you, I won't be able to escape when you start bullying me. But are you serious? As serious as a diamond, Guu replied earnestly. He had said everything he could. If Mooninger still doubted him, then perhaps they weren't meant to be. Just then, the system's voice chimed in. Congratulations, host. Mooninger's affection for you has reached 90 points. She's your true love. Keep it up, and it'll be eternal. Congratulations on overachieving the task. Your special reward has been expanded. Little proud girl, Guu chuckled, making Mooninger blush even more. Her face was as red as a rose as she fumed, You're bullying me. If you don't cook for me, I won't forgive you. Then how about my love for you? What's your response? Guu pressed. As long as you respond, I'll come pick you up, and I'll cook for you every day. Boiled squid, salt and pepper chicken wings, mapo tofu, braised pork, Buddha's delight, spicy lamb spine, twice cooked pork, braised pork belly, marinated chicken legs, marinated duck feet, so many. My cooking skills are in such demand back home that people always want me as the head chef at their celebrations. Guu rattled off dish names one after another, almost like singing, leaving Mooninger, already famished, in a dilemma. She pouted, what should I do? That jerk is threatening me, but I'm so hungry, and I want to eat those dishes so badly, especially a tea egg. In the end, her appetite and 4 years of pent-up feelings erupted, shattering her last line of defense. She snapped, you jerk. You win. But if you want me to become your family, your wife, you'll have to try harder. Okay. Gu's face lit up with satisfaction. I'll come pick you up. Wait for me at school. I'll bring you a few tea eggs to tide you over, and then we'll go home. HMMPH tilde, Mooninger hummed shyly, feeling a mix of embarrassment and joy. I'll be waiting. Hurry up. After hanging up the phone, she tossed it aside and slumped onto her desk, kicking the floor with her long legs. Oh. That jerk is so bad. He's making me blush. Muttering to herself, she raised her flushed face, propping her chin up with her hands, a smile blossoming on her lips. But finally I've waited for you, you jerk. Meanwhile, Guu took a quick shower, packed the tea eggs he had reheated, and asked the system, can I deploy the Night 15 now? Yes. Deploy now. Yes, Guu confirmed. Ding. The vehicle has been deployed to a free parking spot in the community. Coordinates received. Ding. All vehicle documents are stored in the glove compartment. Guu nodded, grabbed the car keys, and pocketed them. He headed downstairs with the tea eggs. His new car, modified by the system, was a black, muscular SUV. Guu felt a surge of excitement as he approached the vehicle, admiring its sleek design and futuristic interior. He placed the tea eggs in the car's built-in warmer, then drove to Zhongyuan University. Whoa, Guu. Is that you? At the school gate, Uncle Zhang, the security guard, was about to stop the car, thinking it was another rich kid here to pick up girls. But when he saw Guu step out, he was shocked. Did you hit the jackpot or something? Har har, something like that. Guu chuckled. Uncle Zhang, I can't chat now. I'm here to pick up my girlfriend. Your girlfriend? Yeah, Mooninger. Uncle Zhang was astonished. Mooninger, the campus beauty, and Guu. Wow, you really pulled it off. You two make quite the golden couple. In the office, Guu pushed open the door and stepped inside, holding up the tea eggs. Ninger, I'm here to pick you up. Wow. Mooninger stood up, jumping into his arms with tears of joy in her eyes. You finally noticed me. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Guu said, gently embracing her soft figure. Listening to her sweet complaints, his heart swelled with happiness. Don't cry, or you'll look like a little kitten. HMPH, I'm not crying. I'm just hungry. Mooninger pouted and grabbed a tea egg, happily peeling it and taking a bite. Her face lit up with satisfaction. But just this tea egg, one tea be enough. I'll spend the rest of my life making sure you're satisfied, feeding you until you're so full you won't be able to run away. Guu took her hand, picked up the lunchbox, and said, let us buy some groceries and go home so I can cook you a feast. Mooninger nodded, completely captivated by Guu. Whatever he said, she was happy to follow. Nothing else mattered anymore. Chapter 6, Little Foodie, I will win your heart with sincerity. Is this your car? Looking at Guu's vehicle, Mooninger was somewhat in disbelief. Did you strike it rich? Not really. Guu didn't explain further. After inviting her into the car, he headed straight for the ring road. Huh? Mooninger suddenly felt a bit nervous. Weren't we going to your place? She really hadn't planned on staying overnight with Guu. Her original idea was to go to his place, have a meal, and then head back home. After all, their relationship was still in a delicate stage. She couldn't fully grasp Guu's feelings for her, and if she kept giving herself away too easily, he might think she was too easy to get, which could make him less appreciative of their relationship. Although she had already made a significant first move. It is where I live, but it's where I'll live in the future. I'm taking you there to check it out. The kitchen is more complete, Guu explained with a smile. I plan to open a private home restaurant there. I see. Mooninger breathed a little easier, feeling less tense. You've got quite a comprehensive plan for your future. Har har, I just like cooking. Guu laughed heartily. After passing through the toll gate, he sped along. Actually, the trip didn't take an hour at all. If you drove quickly, it would only take 30 minutes, if slower, maybe 40 minutes. It was only the city traffic that could slow things down. Chinfu Manor. Mooninger knew about the place. It was a private estate next to a national temple scenic spot, Wolong Mountain Manor. It was developed by a real estate company and had always been vacant. She hadn't realized that her secret crush had already bought it. The manor itself would cost at least 200 million yuan, and with the land, the price would be even higher. What exactly did Guu do? He had only graduated a year ago, yet he had such immense wealth. He was so mysterious. Her beautiful eyes sparkled with curiosity. Chinfu Manor wasn't large, with the mountain it was built on being just over 100 meters high. It had 100% greenery coverage, and the sightseeing walkways appeared and disappeared within the lush foliage. Occasionally, pavilions and gazebos stood amid rare and exotic trees, creating a mystical, beautiful, and grand ancient-style architecture. Professional gardeners maintained it daily, so it didn't appear messy or dilapidated, even though it wasn't inhabited or open for visitors. At the base of the mountain was the commercial area of the Wolong Manor tourist zone. The commercial district was fully developed, with affordable prices and everything available for purchase. When Guu arrived at the estate, he specifically stopped to buy some groceries to prepare dinner. The core area of Chinfu Manor was a cluster of elegant buildings. The front section could easily be transformed into commercial spaces, like a teahouse or pub. The back section was the private area, designed by a renowned landscape architect. Wow! The lake water is actually flowing, and there are koi fish. Mooninger hopped around in front, brimming with curiosity about everything. Despite being a serious and cold counselor, in private, she was utterly adorable. Gu's eyes were filled with tenderness. He knew that Mooninger only had a basic level of trust in him right now, but she was still somewhat guarded and distant. She didn't fully trust him like a real couple should. He understood this well. His actions probably seemed more like they were motivated by a sense of duty rather than affection. There wasn't even a hint of lust, only a heavy sense of responsibility. I have to take care of you, I want to protect you. While women don't dislike that kind of feeling and might even think you're a good man, it's not love. A relationship based on such feelings can't last. If it isn't a relationship of equals from the start, how can it go the distance? Gu understood this very clearly, which is why he planned to show his sincerity through his actions. In the kitchen, Gu opened the special gift package he had received. It contained 3 classic dishes from the Central Plains region. The first was stewed noodles, including various methods such as traditional stewed noodles, lamb stewed noodles, and mushroom stewed noodles. This would definitely suffice for dinner. There was also Bianjing soup dumplings and Central Plains carp, all of which were well-known traditional delicacies. Both the stewed noodles and Bianjing soup dumplings had been awarded titles as part of the regional top 10 snacks, while the Central Plains carp had been recognized as one of the top 10 classic dishes of the region. As a native of the Central Plains, Gu was very familiar with these 3 dishes. Feeling hungry at noon? A bowl of lamb stewed noodles with a crispy flatbread on the side was the ultimate comfort food, delicious, filling, and affordable. Have fun on your own for a bit, Ninger. I'll go make us dinner. After washing his hands and putting on an apron, Gu headed into the kitchen. Seeing him in a pink apron, Mooninger instinctively pulled out her phone and snapped a picture. Surprisingly, it looked great on him. Normally, when a tall, slender guy wears a pink apron with cute cat prints, it creates a strong sense of contrast, but Gu looked different. He wore it effortlessly, exuding a warm and sunny vibe without any hint of awkwardness. Mooninger found herself watching Gu cook for nearly an hour. If it weren't for the tempting aroma of the Central Plains carp and the rich, hearty scent of the lamb stewed noodles, she might have lost track of time. She had never seen a guy who could turn cooking into an art form. When the food was served, Mooninger could barely wait any longer. Gu, these soup dumplings are amazing. The skin is thin, the filling is substantial, and the soup is rich. And they are so cute. Each one looked like a plump little bunny, adorable beyond words. Har har, try them. Gu chuckled as he pulled out a can of beer. Want a drink? No. At the mention of alcohol, Mooninger immediately became cautious and openly said, I'm just here for the food. I'm not staying over. Of course. Gu smiled, not pressing the issue. I won't force you to stay. I'll use my actions to make you want to become the lady of this house. HMPH, you're impossible. How could he be so direct, aim forward like that after barely getting to know her properly? It wasn't fair. She was tempted to give in again. With a pout, Mooninger slurped a mouthful of the chewy, springy noodles. Her beautiful eyes sparkled with delight. Wow, these noodles are incredible. They've absorbed all the essence of the lamb, with no hint of gaminess. Super delicious, absolutely amazing. Eat as much as you like. Gu smiled warmly, resting his chin in his hand as he watched her happily devour the meal, her cheeks puffed up as she ate. She was beautiful, charming, and refreshingly down to earth. Chapter 7, I'll deliver meals to you every day. After eating her fill, the girl collapsed onto the luxurious wooden sofa, rubbing her small stomach. I'm so full, but it was worth it. Gu. Your cooking is amazing. You've spoiled my taste buds. How will I ever survive now? Marry me, become my wife, and I'll make you delicious meals every day, never repeating the same dish. In your dreams. Of course. TSK, you sure are confident. If you want me to marry you, you'll have to prove yourself first. Definitely. Gu smiled gently. At least, with a crush already established, the path to pursuing her wouldn't be so difficult. Guu, could you take me back? I have an important class tomorrow. After resting for a bit, the girl asked, looking conflicted. Sure. But why do you look so conflicted? Obviously because I won't get to eat such delicious food anymore. Mooninger rolled around on the sofa a couple of times. Well, I could deliver meals to you every day. Guu chuckled. Just tell me what you want, and I'll make it. Really? Mooninger felt like Guu was being way too nice to her almost excessively. But aren't you busy with your private kitchen plans? That won't interfere. The restaurant doesn't need a major renovation. Once the paperwork is done, we just need to promote it and attract customers. Guu shared his thoughts. For promotion, I can help you. Mooninger snapped her fingers. I'm quite a famous food blogger, you know. I've got over 1 million followers. Oh? Guu raised an eyebrow and smiled. Looks like the universe is really pushing us together. HMPH. Annoyed by his teasing, Mooninger gave a proud little hum, stood up, and smoothed her hair. Let us go. I need to get back and prepare some course materials. All right. Guu grabbed his car keys, led her to the entrance, and said, let me register you here. That way, if you ever want to bring friends over, you can get in yourself. Okay. After doing a quick facial recognition registration, Mooninger hopped into the passenger seat. Guu, is your private kitchen going to be by reservation only, or open all day? Lunch will be by reservation, but breakfast and dinner will be unlimited until sold out, Guu explained as he drove. That won't work. Reservation only means reservation only. Mixing formats won't be good for business. Mooninger raised her elegant hand. Here's the deal, I'll handle the system for you. By tomorrow morning, I'll have a plan ready. You can tweak it if needed. It's based on the rules I've picked up from various private kitchens I've visited over the years. It may not be perfect, but it'll be useful. Sounds great. Guu nodded, feeling thankful. His dad had always said, start a family, then build your career. Having a supportive partner made such a difference. With such a capable woman by his side, Guu was more determined than ever to win her over. When they reached Mooninger's cozy apartment complex, she smiled and said, it's late, so I want to invite you in. Standing by the car, she mischievously added, Guu, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Oh, come a little closer. Puzzled, Guu leaned in. Mwah. Mooninger quickly pecked him on the cheek, her face flushing slightly. That's your reward, Tilder. I did it again, Mooninger thought to herself, pretending to stay calm while internally blushing like a shy rabbit. Oh, why do I keep giving in? I'll head in now. See you tomorrow? After a quick wave, she turned and walked away, her graceful silhouette etched into Guu's mind. He sat in the car, his heart racing with excitement. I feel like I've been winning this whole time. In high spirits, Guu started the car, turned on some music, and began humming along, completely happy. Halfway back, his phone rang. It was his mother. Hey, Mom. He pulled over, turned on his hazards, set the parking brake, and answered the call. Guu, how's work going? You sound pretty happy. You know, if work is unstable, just bring home a girlfriend. Also, make sure you're eating on time. Do you have enough money? If not, don't hesitate to ask. As usual, his mom launched into a long list of concerns, but Guu didn't mind. In fact, he enjoyed her caring nagging. I've got work, and, well, a girlfriend, too. Guu chuckled, giving his mom a heads up. Oh, you've got a job now. His mother didn't sound too surprised at first, her usual slow reaction time at play. Guu smiled to himself, waiting for the realization to sink in. Wait, did you just say you have a girlfriend? Her voice jumped several octaves. Yep, and we're dating with marriage in mind. Leaning back in his seat, Guu shared a bit about Mooninger. You must have really good fortune. Take good care of her, and when the time is right, bring her home to meet us. His mom was ecstatic. Are you really sure about the job, though? Don't push yourself too hard. Yeah, no worries. After chatting with his mom for a while longer, Guu hung up and drove back to Tianfuviller. Once there, he organized a guest bedroom, then sat down to plan out the next day. When it comes to food, the last thing you worry about is lack of publicity, especially with his prime location near the Wolong Mountain Resort. As soon as he opened, the customer flow would undoubtedly spike. His secret weapon. The classic tea eggs, a staple breakfast item that would help draw in the crowds. Once the first wave of customers came, with Mooninger's social media boost, Guu was confident he could make his private kitchen a success. And, most importantly, he would do it all for the future little foodie who would one day become his wife. Chapter 8, Future Plans. On their way back, Guu made his plans for the next day. First, he would bring breakfast to Mooninger early in the morning, then head to the tax office to handle the necessary paperwork for his restaurant business. Handling restaurant-related formalities was said to be a bit of a hassle. It involved health inspections, site evaluations, and other procedures. If things moved slowly, it might take up to a week. However, sometimes money can smooth things out. After finalizing his plan, Guu returned home, took a shower, and checked his phone. Mooninger had already sent over the reservation system rules. She even sent him a cute good night image. She worked fast. It took her just half an hour. Guu downloaded the document, sent her a good night message, and then reviewed the file. The system was very well organized and could be used as is. The membership system, in particular, was quite refined. With this reservation and membership system, his private kitchen could resemble those high-end establishments with a long-standing heritage. However, in a tourist area like this, Guu felt such an approach might not be the best fit. He lacked any existing reputation and was new to the business, making it hard to compete right away. In the afternoon, Guu had surveyed other restaurants in the area. Most of the establishments were either chain restaurants or popular online spots with significant foot traffic. He was confident in his ability to attract customers away from them, but he also recognized that a boutique approach would be ideal. As long as his food was delicious enough, he wouldn't have to worry about a lack of customers. Let's go with this plan, he decided. After all, making money wasn't his main priority here. The private kitchen was more of a personal hobby and a front for earning rewards from his daily tasks. Putting his phone aside, Guu went to bed. The next morning, Guu woke up at precisely 5 a.m., as per his usual routine. Morning exercise was essential and also part of his daily tasks. Though the workload wasn't too intense, 100 squats, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 1000 jump rope skips, it was enough to make him feel stronger, with increased muscle and bone density. Plus, he earned an extra 10,000 yuan as a random reward for completing the task. After finishing his workout, Guu began preparing breakfast. Tea eggs were a must, and there were a few left from yesterday, so he just needed to reheat them. He also made a mushroom noodle soup, a comforting dish for the early morning. Cooking was another daily task that helped improve his culinary skills, and the dishes he made were infused with a delicious attribute. Additionally, Guu prepared lunch for Mooninger, rice, a large carp, and 2 simple stir-fry dishes, along with an egg drop soup. Once the food was ready, he sent her a message. It was already 6:30 a.m., and Mooninger had just woken up. Seeing the pictures Guu sent, her stomach growled, and she pouted, "Wow, tempting me so early in the morning. I'm going to get fat." After quickly washing up, Mooninger changed into a sleek black business outfit with a pencil skirt and black stockings, making her long legs look even more elegant. By 7:10, Guu had arrived at her apartment complex. Mooninger was already waiting at the entrance. "Good morning," Guu said, opening the car door for her. "The rules you made are great, so I'll just use them as is. I've prepared both breakfast and lunch for you since I'll be busy with errands later. Noodles for breakfast, and for lunch, rice, a big carp, and 2 stir-fried dishes, plus an egg drop soup. That's so generous." Mooninger's eyes sparkled, but she asked with concern, "Is this too much work for you in the morning?" "It's not a problem," Guu replied with a smile. "I'm used to waking up at 5 for exercise, then reading for a while. Now that I'm opening a restaurant, I use the time to cook and hone my skills, 2 birds with 1 stone." Mooninger smiled and settled into the passenger seat, taking out her laptop to prepare the day's lessons. Guu didn't disturb her, quietly enjoying the peaceful moment. The way she worked so seriously, with a ray of sunlight casting a soft glow on her profile, made her look like the protagonist of a beautiful anime. He couldn't resist snapping a photo. "Focus on driving." Mooninger chided playfully, though she was secretly pleased by his attention. She knew he truly cared about her, but warned him as the car sat idly in the middle of the road. Hearing honks from behind, she lightly tapped Guu's hand. Oops, sorry. Guu chuckled, quickly restarting the car and heading toward Zhongyuan University. Once at the university gates, Guu parked and took out the food containers from the insulated box. Let me help you carry these, he offered, seeing her juggle her laptop and bag. Thank you, Mooninger blushed slightly as she accepted his help. Together, they walked into the university, and Guu immediately felt the weight of countless envious stares, some from jealous guys, others from curious girls. His appearance, now more handsome and fit than before, naturally drew attention. Guu didn't mind the jealous looks. In fact, he walked a bit taller, feeling proud. Mooninger noticed and couldn't help but smile at his childlike glee. As they walked, she reminded him, when you go handle your errands, make sure to bring a pack of cigarettes. Whether you smoke or not doesn't matter, but you should have them on hand. Guu nodded. He understood the unspoken rules of dealing with people in business, but it warmed his heart that Mooninger was so attentive to such details. Chapter 9, It Smells So Good. After dropping Mooninger off at the office, Guu checked the time and decided not to linger. He headed straight to the tax office to handle the necessary paperwork. The sooner he completed the procedures, the better. Otherwise, the later he went, the larger the crowd. By the time Guu arrived at the tax office, it was already 8:30 a.m., right at the start of working hours. After filling out the registration form for his individual restaurant, he went to the food and beverage window to register his store. At this point, Guu deliberately took out his car keys. The staff at the tax office, well acquainted with such things, immediately changed their attitude upon seeing the keys. Their demeanor was completely different from that of the previous person. Guu scoffed at the change but said nothing. This was the reality of society. My restaurant is located at Tianfu Mountain Villa. Here are my land certificate, residential land certificate, property certificate, and a layout map of Tianfu Mountain Villa. The restaurant will be in the Tianfu building at the front. The staff's attitude grew even warmer and more humble as they saw the various documents and certificates Guu provided. They were well aware of Tianfu Mountain Villa's geographical and commercial value. It had always been on the market or for lease, and now it was unexpectedly taken by a young man who looked to be in his 20s and had just graduated from college. And then there were the car keys, a Rolls-Royce Phantom 15, priced at tens of millions. Please wait a moment. I'll handle this for you right away. Have you confirmed the name of your restaurant? If so, I'll process all the paperwork now. You'll receive the relevant certificates and be ready to start operations shortly. All right, Guu nodded. The process turned out to be simpler than he had imagined. Their health inspection was overlooked. This was the power of capital. Guu couldn't help but marvel. Within just over an hour, he had all the necessary certificates, still warm from processing. Normally, it would take half a month to complete all the paperwork, especially if their health inspectors were diligent. If they decided to drag their feet, it could be quite troublesome. Opening a restaurant is a race against time. Every day the store isn't open means a loss. If it's a store he owns, it's one thing, but if it's not, the financial loss can be substantial. Normally, obtaining a business license requires a rental contract. Without a contract, each day without profit results in a loss. After acquiring all the documents, Guu completed the system's fixed task and received the rewards: a recipe gift pack, a seed gift pack, a planting gift pack, and a critical reward and interior decoration gift pack. The 4 packs, especially the critical reward, looked promising. Guu didn't rush to open them. Instead, he returned to his rented place, vacated the property, and packed his simple belongings. He then headed back to Tianfu Mountain Villa. He framed and hung the business and health licenses in the most prominent spot on the first floor of the restaurant's small loft before opening the gift packs. Inside, he found 2 cards, one for kitchen decoration and one for overall decoration. Without hesitation, he used them. The renovation was almost magical, completing instantly. There were no major changes, just that the materials seemed to be more luxurious. The overall design was refreshing, with soft lighting that created a pleasant mood. The kitchen was now modernized, equipped with all necessary tools and meticulously organized. It looked immaculate, even appealing to those with obsessive tendencies. The System S products were truly reliable. The recipe, seed, and planting gift packs were also quite rich. The recipes included 1. Happy dumplings, featuring a variety of 15 fillings, each combination offers different mood-enhancing effects. These dumplings not only taste delicious but also bring joy. 2. Exciting ramen, detailed from kneading the dough to serving the bowl. Compared to the diverse fillings of the Happy dumplings, the exciting ramen has simpler flavors: mildly spicy, spicy, medium spicy, heavily spicy, super spicy, and extremely spicy. Eating it boosts one's enthusiasm for life. 3. 9-turn pig intestines, nothing special except its taste. It's a blessing for those with constipation, providing a remedy with its shape. For seeds, GUU received happy wheat, exciting chili, and passionate pepper. The planting technology was comprehensive, turning him into a master cultivator. He could grow anything and everything without fail. The villa had a small private farming area at the back, not large, just over 3 acres. However, it was suitable for planting. GUU planned to sow all the seeds first and then move on to other tasks. After spending most of the day planting all the seeds, GUU checked the time. It was already 1 p.m. Rubbing his stomach, he decided to make a mildly spicy exciting ramen with the remaining ingredients at home. Meanwhile, at Zhongyuan University, Mooninger had just finished her busy schedule and finally sat down. "Moo teacher, would you like to have lunch together?" Li teacher, who had also just finished, asked while massaging her calves. "Sorry, I brought my own lunch," Mooninger said with an apologetic smile as she took out her meal. "Did GUU make this for you?" Li teacher inquired, noticing that the lunchbox looked like a typical male-s meal and was identical to yesterday's. "Yes," Mooninger admitted readily. "Since we're both adults, having completed our studies, it's time to consider dating seriously, with marriage in mind." She opened the lunchbox, and the aroma of rice filled the air. Li Chanwan's stomach growled loudly, making her feel embarrassed. "Your boyfriend's cooking is really impressive. Even plain rice smells so appetizing." Mooninger felt a bit proud. He enjoys cooking and has been busy with his private kitchen lately. "If you're interested, once everything is officially up and running, I'll invite you over to try it, and you can help promote it." "Sure, no problem," Li Chanwan said as she reluctantly turned away and headed toward the door. "I'll go to the restaurant first." "Enjoy your meal." She was envious, truly envious. Li Chanwan's jealousy even made her eyes tear up. With such good looks and luck, it was hard to bear. Chapter 10: Pricing and Strategy for Gourmet Food. Outside the office, teachers passing by were clearly disturbed by the delicious aroma wafting from Mooninger's office. It was simply irresistible. Most notably, this aroma was so pleasant that it soothed even the most troubled minds, making everyone feel relaxed and hungrier. Some teachers who had already eaten earlier found themselves feeling hungry again. "Isn't he this Mooninger's office? Oh, the most beautiful academic star who stayed behind to work. I remember she was dropped off by a guy today. Let us not dwell on that. We're adults, dating is normal. But what is that incredible smell? It's making us crazy. Should we go ask?" One plump teacher, unable to resist any longer, gently knocked on the door. "Come in." Mooninger wiped the sauce from the corner of her mouth and allowed the visitor to enter. She had expected a student, but to her surprise, it was a group of teachers, their eyes gleaming as they stared at her like wolves. This made her a bit nervous. "Hello, everyone." "Ahem. Sorry, we're just too excited." The plump teacher gave a hearty laugh, his squinting eyes constantly glancing at Mooninger's table. "Moo teacher, could you tell us where you ordered this lunch? It smells so good we can't resist it even from outside." "Oh." Noting their gulping expressions, Mooninger cheerfully responded, "This lunch was made by my boyfriend." The plump teacher's face fell instantly. As an older man who found true joy only in food, hearing Mooninger's words broke his heart. If it was made by her boyfriend, it meant it wasn't available for purchase. However, Mooninger noted their expressions of despair and continued with a grin, "My boyfriend runs a private kitchen. You can place orders, but it's quite expensive and only available for full table bookings. He only offers 3 delivery slots per day. If you want to try it, you'd probably need to form a group and book a table. Unfortunately, it's not available right now. Today is just the start of the registration process, and even if everything goes smoothly, it might take a week." Mooninger had silently secured a long list of loyal customers for GUU. Booking a table. That sounds great. We're willing to wait a week. A group of teachers rubbed their hands together eagerly. Moo teacher, can you help us out? Since there are only 3 delivery slots, and we're all colleagues, is there any chance you could arrange for one table to be reserved for us? I don't have the final say on that, Mooninger replied. Even my boyfriend doesn't have the final say. The deciding factor is the money in your wallets. My boyfriend's private kitchen is at Chinfu Mountain Villa, which is affiliated with the Wolong Mountain Scenic Area. The prices might be quite high, and daily dining could become financially burdensome. Mooninger was very honest. If you're interested, check the prices first. If they are reasonable, I'll let my boyfriend know. The teachers were grateful for Mooninger's help. Now, they just needed to see the price for booking a table. Booking a table and arranging delivery both came with additional costs. The taste of this home-style cuisine was so exceptional that even 5-star hotels and Michelin-starred restaurants couldn't compete. Moreover, it was labeled as a private kitchen. Private kitchens can vary in size. A small one serves home-style dishes, while a larger one features exclusive signature dishes that can't be found elsewhere. Naturally, this would drive up the price, especially given the high-profile location at Chinfu Mountain Villa. In the future, only people with status and standing would dine there. After the teachers left, Mooninger felt particularly pleased. She quickly finished her meal, patted her belly with satisfaction, washed and tidied the dishes, and then sat down to open a food forum. She logged into her Blogger account, uploaded all the photos she had taken before eating, and wrote a detailed review of each dish, describing the features and flavors. The text, combined with the photos, made her review an irresistible mouth-watering experience. As a food blogger with millions of followers, her review garnered over 10,000 views within minutes, with an 80% read-through rate. The remaining 20% had already started commenting. The vivid descriptions and enticing food pictures made everyone hungry again, even those who had just eaten. Since GUU's private kitchen wasn't officially open yet and didn't have a formal name, Mooninger only wrote a recommendation for private kitchen cuisine without specifying the location or name, leaving a sense of suspense. After handling everything, Mooninger sent GUU a screenshot with a playful expression, "Look at this super hot traffic from my blog. You owe me at least 10 meals as a reward." GUU, sure. What would you like for dinner? Mooninger, not tonight. Don't rush things. GUU, I'm heading to the commercial center this afternoon to buy kitchenware. I could stop by. Are you sure you don't want anything? GUU, exciting ramen, happy dumplings, 9-turn pig intestines. He sent over photos of the 3 dishes. Mooninger was instantly tempted. This bad man is using food to manipulate me. No way, I won't give in. But the food looked so delicious. Eventually, Mooninger relented. All right, I'll have a portion of mushroom pork dumplings, medium spicy exciting ramen, and 9-turn pig intestines. Also, add a bowl of rice. GUU, got it. GUU, delivery at 5 p.m. sharp. Mooninger, you focus on your work. By the way, many teachers want to book tables. Have you finalized the table booking and pricing? GUU, I'll finalize it tomorrow and send you the details. But, Ninger, you should prepare them. Honestly, my tables are quite expensive. Mooninger, got it, newer tilde a kiss for you. I'll go to class now. We'll chat more in the afternoon. GUU, okay, kisses. Mooninger smiled happily, put away her phone, and began preparing her teaching materials and to-do list for the afternoon. The workload for first-year students was still quite heavy, but it would be a bit lighter in the second year. GUU, satisfied, put away his phone and reviewed his shopping list. He added some insulated delivery containers and finalized the list. As for pricing, he continued to follow the premium route. The prices would match the quality of the food, but he wouldn't inflate them. Chapter 11, The Ultimate Bargainer, Mooninger, takes the stage. At the same time, he was planning to set up a small stall at the entrance, selling breakfast items like tea, eggs and buns, with the thought of also offering pastries. Essentially, he was preparing for the future. Breakfast was essential. Good food only truly counts when shared, and the joy it brings reflects the value of his culinary skills. GUU calculated the prices for the recipes he currently mastered. Happy dumplings, 66 yuan for vegetarian, 88 yuan for meat. Exciting ramen, 77 yuan, regardless of the spiciness level. 9-turn pig intestines, 99 yuan per serving. Central Plains carp, 180 yuan per serving. Braised noodles, 30 yuan for vegetarian, 40 yuan for meat. Bianjing soup dumplings, 5 yuan each. These prices were meticulously calculated by GUU and reflected the quality and taste of the ingredients. The prices were set to be both satisfying and fulfilling. He prepared a detailed price list and sent it to Mooninger. After finalizing everything, GUU prepared dinner and a late-night snack for Mooninger, packed them carefully, and drove to Zhongyuan University. On the way, he also confirmed a shop specializing in kitchenware. After delivering the food, he planned to purchase the kitchen supplies. Arriving at the school gate, Mooninger was already waiting. I've cancelled my classes. Let us go buy the kitchenware together, and then you can drop me off at home. I'm worried you might get cheated if you go alone. After Mooninger got into the car, she extended her hand. Let me see the list you made so we can discuss it. Sure, GUU nodded and handed her the list. Wow, that's a lot. Mooninger put on her fatigue glasses and carefully reviewed the list. We don't need to go to the specialty store, let us head to the wholesale market. You can find better quality kitchenware there for cheaper. I go there often, so you won't go wrong following me. Alright, GUU agreed, not refusing. Although he had earned some cash from daily tasks, it was too much and couldn't be squandered. With the initial funding from the system, he didn't have a lot to work with. Finding good deals at the wholesale market was definitely a plus. This is so much better. After leaving the school gate, Mooninger stretched her back and leaned against the passenger seat, exuding a mature, seductive charm. Today, I flaunted in front of all the teachers. They were all eyeing my lunch boxes like starving ghosts, desperate to buy some. Why not start a delivery service? GUU thought for a moment before replying, limited delivery service to open up demand. That sounds good, Mooninger considered. Let us limit each dish to 100 servings, and 100 servings available for in-store reservations. Feasible. GUU felt he could handle the workload. Then tonight, I want to go home. Let us go to the store. I'll help you set up a delivery platform and promote it within Zhongyuan. Regarding delivery personnel, are you planning to cooperate with a platform? No need for that. We'll set up our own team. GUU had worked as a delivery driver during summer breaks. Many delivery drivers earned over 10,000 yuan a month, but it required intense effort to grab orders, and complaints could ruin 2 or 3 days' work. Platforms also took a hefty commission, so GUU planned to form his own team. Setting up our own team is fine. It will be more timely. But wages will be a significant expense, Mooninger calculated, feeling it might not be very cost-effective. Not necessarily. Delivery will be a few yuan more expensive than in-store purchases. We'll set a minimum order of 3 dishes. Following other platform systems, but we'll be more considerate and price higher. GUU briefly explained his plan and smiled confidently. Besides, I'm very confident in my cooking skills. Mooninger agreed. She genuinely appreciated GUU's cooking. Compared to the so-called state banquet chefs and century-old private kitchen restaurants she visited with her family back home, GUU's dishes were far superior. Their food was delicious, but it didn't bring the same joy and happiness as GUU's, and their prices were higher. The two of them arrived at the largest wholesale market in Zhongyuan. After parking the car, Mooninger took GUU's hand, her cheeks flushed with a hint of shyness. Don't overthink it. I'm just worried you might get disoriented since it's your first time here. GUU smiled gently, holding her soft, delicate hand as they navigated through the bustling crowd. Mooninger's bargaining skills were impressive. Her eye for quality and aesthetics was unmatched, and GUU's role was just to assist with carrying the items. You've got an unbeatable partner. The shopkeeper, an older man from northeast China, was visibly moved. His eyes were red, and his voice was restrained with a sense of grievance. Of course. GUU laughed, my partner is very resourceful. Thanks for helping me carry these. GUU said with a grin. No problem. Although you bargained hard, as long as you're still here, I'll see it through. They carried a large box of various dishes to the car. Seeing GUU's vehicle, the shopkeeper broke into tears. Bro, you drive a multi-million car and still bargained me down to the bare minimum. You've got no heart. Clearing his throat, GUU awkwardly scratched his nose. Noting Mooninger's proud expression, he placed the boxes down and handed the shopkeeper a pack of cigarettes. Saving money is important after all, no one's money comes easily. Have a pack of cigarettes and don't be upset. The shopkeeper's mood immediately brightened. The pack of cigarettes looked valuable, worth about 70 yuan, which was more than what most people would offer during business deals. Bro, if you need anything else, let me know. I'll recommend you the best stores, and with your partner, you'll get the best prices and satisfaction. The shopkeeper patted GUU on the shoulder, friendly and enthusiastic. Chapter 12, The Call from the Future Mother-in-Law. No need, we've pretty much bought everything, Mooninger said, her hands behind her back, looking like a proud little peacock as she smiled at the tall and unexpectedly gentle shopkeeper. However, her words were quite heart-wrenching, delivering a sharp blow to the shopkeeper who was just starting to feel happy about receiving the cigarettes. Originally, he had planned to take advantage of the situation and let his friends experience a bit of despair. But he was caught off guard when Mooninger's shop was so comprehensive that everything was sold out. By the way, about the takeout boxes, Mooninger continued, we'll be placing long-term orders. Our sales volume is quite high. I'm sure you'll make a profit, but I have an additional request. I need you to deliver them to our restaurant. Mooninger then took out a sweet date and handed it to the shopkeeper, who now felt both pained and sweetened. No problem. If the quantity is sufficient, I'll make the trip, the shopkeeper assured, patting his chest. Great. We'll do a test run for the first 3 days of our opening. If there's a shortfall, we'll pay extra for the delivery. Mooninger's negotiating skills were precise, keeping the shopkeeper's bottom line firmly in mind and testing it thoroughly. GUU, giving his girlfriend a thumbs up, silently mourned for the shopkeeper for a minute. Then, they both left. The shopkeeper stood there, happily waving them goodbye. After wandering around for 2 hours, GUU was hungry. In the car, Mooninger opened the insulated box and took out the dinner GUU had prepared for her. The dumplings were for a late-night snack. The ramen still had plenty of broth, not yet turned into a lump. Delicious. Mooninger mixed the ramen and toppings, taking a deep breath as the fragrant, spicy aroma hit her senses, opening up her taste buds and giving her a sense of euphoria. It was fantastic. She took a big bite of the ramen. The texture was chewy and firm. The flavor was even more explosive than the smell, with a complex yet dreamy blend of spices that made her blood boil. She couldn't stop eating, despite the smooth ride of the car, finishing the entire bowl and drinking up all the broth. After finishing the ramen, Mooninger sighed contentedly, lying back in her seat, her skin flushed and glistening with sweat. GUU, this ramen is on the level of a master herbalistess. Yes, GUU agreed, thinking that anime exaggeration seemed even more realistic in light of Mooninger's reaction. No, don't look at me like that, it's so embarrassing, Mooninger said, pulling her clothes closer and curling up bashfully. Her cute, delicate demeanor made GUU feel even more tempted. Fortunately, he had strong willpower. Once they returned to the shop, Mooninger immediately took a shower. She then took out her professional camera to shoot some photos of the shop's interior and exterior, before sitting down to start editing the private kitchen platform. The name Chinfu Private Kitchen was straightforward, simply based on its location. Simple and direct, with no frills. GUU, meanwhile, ate the dumplings he had originally intended for Mooninger's late-night snack. The platform I set up for you is linked to cloud services with a complete framework and template. I'll just optimize the details and design the pages to help you get the restaurant up and running quickly. I've also contacted some delivery drivers. Tomorrow, when I'm free, we'll do interviews together to select 5 of them. We can start a trial run in the afternoon. Mooninger adjusted her glasses and began typing away on the keyboard. Got it, GUU nodded, putting on his apron again. I'll make a late-night snack for you. What would you like? Just make whatever you have. Not the exciting ramen though. If I eat that, I won't be able to sleep tonight. Her current feeling of excitement was entirely due to the ramen she had just eaten. Another bowl would lead to a carbohydrate explosion and a sleepless night. All right. GUU had already experienced the ramen's effects earlier. He didn't want to eat anything that would get him too pumped up. So he decided to make pan-fried dumplings. He thought about it for a moment. The happy dumplings would taste better after a second round in the air fryer, giving them a richer flavor. Luckily, there was still plenty of mushroom and pork filling prepared earlier. The pan-fried dumplings would be enough for both of them. If they could open for business the next day, they could start preparing for the lunch service. With Mooninger's promotion in the afternoon, they should make a small profit. Guu stroked his chin, deep in thought. Soon, the late-night snack was ready. Mooninger had also started wrapping up her work. At 11 at night, the Chinfu private kitchen online platform was up and running. Guu and Mooninger had VIP store manager accounts. "I'm exhausted," Mooninger said. "I'm going to soak in a hot spring. Guu, please test out the platform and see how it works." Mooninger stood up, stretching her stiff body. She sampled a pan-fried dumpling before heading to the bathroom. The bathroom had natural hot springs, making it very comfortable. Guu nodded and sat down to review the platform Mooninger had set up. The template and framework were well developed, with no significant bugs. However, there were many minor issues that needed fixing. Guu, who had just received programming skill rewards from daily tasks, found it relatively easy to handle. He made modifications to the overall framework, added many detailed adjustments suited to the shop, and made some subtle changes to the page design to make it look more natural and attractive. Finally, he checked the payment functionality. It was well developed, with seamless integration for bank cards, WeChat, and Alipay. Everything else was in order. As he was fine-tuning the details, Mooninger's phone, which had been left on the table, rang. Guu looked at it and panicked. The caller ID read "Mother." The phone rang several times without stopping, so Guu quickly picked it up and ran to the bathroom door. "Ninger, your phone is ringing." "Oh, can you answer it for me?" "I'm enjoying the bath and don't want to move," Mooninger replied lazily, clearly enjoying her bath. "I'll take it." Guu, looking at the caller, rubbed his chin. "We're going to be family sooner or later, so I'll answer it." Chapter 13, Mooninger, Am I Not Her Biological Child? "Hello, Auntie, I'm Guu, Ninger's future boyfriend. Ninger is currently unavailable to take the call. Is there something you need?" Guu, adjusting his emotions, nervously answered the phone. His nervousness made him sound like he was using a broadcast tone, albeit with a Central Plains accent. On the other end, the elegant woman calling her daughter had a growingly strange expression, but remained calm. "So, you're Guu, right?" "Yes, Auntie," Guu quickly replied. Are you two living together?" Ju Bingyun glanced at the moon hanging high in the sky, her mood a bit complicated. Her daughter, who had always been reluctant to come home, had found a boyfriend and was even cohabiting. "Not yet. Ninger came to help me set up the restaurant and has been busy all day. She just plans to stay overnight," Guu answered honestly. That was a relief. Ju Bingyun relaxed and began chatting with Guu. As a mother, she felt obligated to ensure her daughter's future was in good hands. Money wasn't an issue. Just during their brief conversation, Guu's character shone through sunny, confident, and honest. They had both graduated from the same school, and he seemed to have no major flaws. Most importantly, Guu was skilled in cooking. Ju Bingyun often read her daughter's food blog and was the top contributor. After all, mother and daughter shared the same interests. Since yesterday, she had noticed her daughter's blog, which had been inactive for a while, had updated with pictures of an unlaunched restaurant. From the photos, she was certain it was top-notch cuisine, undoubtedly from a master's hand. To her surprise, it was a young man in his 20s, the same age as her daughter, and this young man was her daughter's future boyfriend. Ju Bingyun found it hard to believe the future part, as she knew her daughter well and was certain she would be the first to give her heart away. In fact, she had already done so. However, based on how Guu spoke about her daughter, Ju Bingyun was convinced that this young man genuinely cared for her daughter. They talked for over an hour, initially with Ju Bingyun asking questions like checking a household register, and later discussing cooking techniques. Guu, not hiding anything, explained enthusiastically, leaving him quite dry-mouthed from talking. Guu, who was on the phone. "You talked for so long." Mooninger, wearing a bathrobe, emerged and took the phone from Guu. Seeing it was her mother, she turned red instantly, like a ripe shrimp, and shot a sulky look at Guu before sweetly complaining to her mother, "Mom, why didn't you let Guu pass the phone to me?" "Oh. So it's you? Never mind. Send me Gu's WeChat later. I still have many questions to ask. For now, hang up. When you have time, come back and bring Guu with you." With that, Ju Bingyun hung up quickly, leaving Mooninger stunned. It felt like her heart had turned cold. Why was her mother so close to Guu already? "Guu, what did you and my mom talk about?" Mooninger asked, glaring at Guu. "Nothing much. Auntie seemed very interested in cooking and kept asking me how to cook. I just gave her some verbal guidance." Guu scratched his head. "Huh." Hearing Gu's response, Mooninger's eyes widened as she grabbed Gu's shoulders. "Guu, please don't teach my mom how to cook. She's the kind of person who can turn any recipe into a disaster." "What do you mean? Isn't he having a special talent good?" Guu was confused. "No, she's the type who can follow a recipe and still make a dark cuisine. It's terrifying." Mooninger's face turned pale as if recalling something dreadful. Guu, seeing her fear, swallowed hard. "Then Auntie said she plans to make a special breakfast for Uncle tomorrow morning." "Amen." "Poor Dad." Mooninger made a cross on her chest, offering a prayer for her father. "My mom is a typical person who's both bad at cooking and loves to experiment," Mooninger briefly described her mother to Guu. "The buns she makes are more useful than a hammer. They are perfect for cracking walnuts, and she can even use them to drive in nails without breaking them." Wow. Was that a bun or a brick? Guu had always thought such stories were exaggerations. To his surprise, there really were people with such extraordinary cooking failures. "That's still the better side," Mooninger said with distaste. "Now, my mom is probably going to pester you with questions. Young man, good luck. It's up to you now." "Got it." Guu nodded confidently. "I'm going to bed then. I'll add the website to my blog later. Please keep an eye on the pre-sale tonight." Mooninger yawned, her delicate face showing signs of fatigue. "What about my room?" Guu showed her to the bedroom. "Choose any room you like. I'll take this one with the artificial lake view." Mooninger rubbed her eyes and stumbled into the room. "Guu, don't sneak in at night, Tilda." Mooninger teased with a grin. "I want tea." Guu rolled his eyes. He then went downstairs, set up his assembled computer, connected to the phone's shared network, and registered an account on the food forum, following Mooninger's account. She had already posted the platform's website. Guu promptly set up the pre-sale for the back end, with a limited quantity of 100 for each item. Since it was the first day of the pre-sale, he didn't set a minimum order requirement and posted the event rules to prevent potential issues. Even though he wasn't afraid of trouble, he preferred to avoid it if possible. Mooninger was indeed a popular blogger with a large following in Central Plains. The pre-sale quickly sold out within moments. The delivery area was limited to the Shangju region, so it wouldn't be too troublesome. Most people ordered 3 or 4 combinations. Fortunately, the number of customers wasn't too overwhelming. Otherwise, Guu would have had to handle the deliveries himself. Everyone says internet celebrities make money by selling goods, and it's really true. Guu sighed. Chapter 14, Future Mother-in-Law's Assistance. The next morning, Guu woke up early. He was preparing breakfast and getting ingredients for the pre-ordered takeout when his WeChat rang. It was Ju Bingyun's account from last night. Guu pursed his lips and answered the video call. "Good morning, Auntie." "Good morning," Ju Bingyun, a more mature version of Mooninger, replied, dressed in yoga attire and doing yoga. "I hope I'm not disturbing you. Could I watch you cook?" "Of course," Guu said. He didn't mind at all and adjusted the phone to a good angle. "I'm making mushroom noodles for breakfast. I discussed the techniques last night, so you can just observe the process. After breakfast, I'll need to prepare the ingredients for the pre-ordered meals," he added. Gu's cooking was like an art form. From mixing the dough to finishing the dish, it was a visual feast that left Ju Bingyun mesmerized. She was so captivated by the finished product that she struggled to focus on her yoga and almost wished she could jump into the screen to see the two bowls of noodles up close. "Guu, your noodles look so amazing and appetizing," Ju Bingyun exclaimed, dropping her elegant demeanor. "Your cooking skills are even better than a Michelin chef's. Har har, if you have time to come to Central Plains, I'll treat you." Guu laughed and then picked up the phone. "I'll go wake Ninger for breakfast." Ju Bingyun, having adjusted her mood, took in the environment Guu was in through the camera and couldn't help but exclaim, "The place you're in is really nice." "Yes, this is Chinfu Villa," Guu introduced with a smile. "Chinfu Villa," Ju Bingyun was surprised. "Did you buy it, or are you renting it temporarily?" "It's more or less bought." Guu didn't go into too much detail, as his financial situation was a bit of a problem, less than $1 million all told and no fixed assets. "You're truly accomplished at a young age," Ju Bingyun said, clearly satisfied with Guu. "Ninger doesn't quite match up to you." Ju Bingyun was very pleased with Guu. First, his top-notch cooking skills were a significant plus for her, and second, his looks and height were also good. She didn't care much about other aspects. Money was no issue for her family, and with his culinary skills, Guu could easily provide for them. Guu's current achievements made Ju Bingyun even more satisfied. "Ninger helped me run around all day yesterday. Without her as my assistant, I wouldn't have been able to open the restaurant," Guu said gently. He went to Ninger's room and knocked on the door. "Ninger, wake up and have breakfast." There was no response. He called several times without success. Guu wasn't too concerned, as it was only 6:30 a.m. and she had gone to bed after midnight. It was normal for her not to wake up so early. However, Ju Bingyun, as Ninger's mother, felt a bit awkward and directly ordered, "Guu, go in and wake her up. How can she be sleeping so soundly at her age?" "Nmem." Guu hesitated a bit. "Auntie, Ninger and I aren't at the stage of discussing marriage yet. Is it really okay for me to go in?" "No problem." Ju Bingyun waved her hand nonchalantly. "If there's an issue, Auntie will cover for you." With that assurance, Guu decided not to hesitate. He knocked on the door again, and when there was still no response, he opened it and walked in. On the large, wooden, antique-style bed, Ninger was hugging a pillow, sleeping soundly, with a bit of drool on her cheek and the sheets. She was mumbling in her sleep, "Can't eat anymore, really can't eat anymore." "You're still dreaming about eating," Ju Bingyun said, half amused and half exasperated. Her daughter was so unprepared, it seemed. After Guu put the phone on speaker, Ju Bingyun shouted with gusto, "Lazy girl, get up." "Huh? Mom, what are you doing here?" Ninger shot up from bed, dazed, and looked at Guu standing by the window, trying not to make eye contact. They were both frozen in place. "Are you? Why did you come into my room?" Ninger's face turned red quickly. She hurriedly buried herself under the covers, not daring to show her face, and mumbled, "Guu, you're so bad for using my mom's voice to scare me." "I didn't scare you." "Guu got up at 5, and look at you," Ju Bingyun scolded with a mix of disappointment and frustration. "Mom." Ninger carefully peeked out from under the covers and saw Guu holding out his phone. Her face darkened when she realized her mother was video chatting with Guu. "Mom, aren't you worried about Dad being jealous that you're chatting with a young man so early in the morning?" Dirty thoughts, Ju Bingyun rolled her eyes. "I scheduled this with Guu to watch him cook and to get a more detailed explanation. I'm 50 years old and still trying hard. How can you, a young girl, sleep so late? Get up and help Guu prepare the ingredients." This didn't feel right. Why did it seem like she wasn't the biological child? "Mom, am I really your biological child? How can you be so close to Guu? We're not even married yet, and he's just my future boyfriend. You're going to scare him away like this?" Ninger continued to probe her mother, wondering if Ju Bingyun had already accepted Guu as her daughter's boyfriend. Although she was happy, she worried that Guu might become arrogant and take advantage of her. "Auntie is so nice, how could I be afraid?" Guu smiled at Ninger. Stabilizing the future mother-in-law was actually a good move. "Sorry, Ninger." Guu decided to tackle the future mother-in-law first, then deal with the future father-in-law. Considering the future mother-in-law's taste, temperament, and living environment, Mooninger was a small fortune in her own right. The future father-in-law might be harder to win over. You all are bullying me. I'm angry. I'm not talking to you anymore. Seeing that they were teasing her, Mooninger threw a tantrum, hiding under the covers and pouting. So annoying, really so annoying. Hey, I prepared a super delicious mushroom noodle dish. It looks like I'll have to eat it all myself. It's made with the freshest monkey head mushrooms. Guu feigned disappointment. I guess I'll just have to enjoy it alone. Fine, I'll get up, Mooninger said. Eating so much in the morning isn't good for your health. I'm doing this for your own good, Guu said. Mooninger quickly got up, dressing so fast that Guu barely had time to react. Chapter 15, Too Delicious to Refuse. Go ahead and eat first, I want to join in, Ju Bingyun said as she prepared to make breakfast herself. However, because she was too hungry, she decided not to spend time cooking and instead called a chef to prepare breakfast and deliver it. Mushroom noodles. It's really, really fantastic. Mooninger, with noodles slurping, praised the meal with a blissful face and gave Guu a thumbs up. Guu, I love you. But I think you're in love with the noodles. Guu teased before sitting down to eat his own portion. After breakfast, Mooninger took the initiative to wash the dishes in the kitchen, saying she needed to move around to help with digestion so she could eat more at lunch. Guu, on the other hand, contacted some delivery workers. Due to time constraints, he and Mooninger couldn't handle recruitment and decided to find a delivery team for this task. The delivery team he contacted was called Shinfeng Express, known for its high reputation and reliability. They handled a wide range of tasks, including delivering money and picking up children, and had excellent reviews. After negotiating the price with the team leader, Guu and Mooninger went to the base of the mountain to buy ingredients. Guu, is this amount of ingredients a bit too much? Mooninger worried as she looked at the full trunk of ingredients. No, I've calculated everything. Guu said, moving all the ingredients into the kitchen. Ninger, I've arranged a team of 10 from Shinfeng Express. When they arrive, please assign them tasks. With that, Guu got straight to work. Handling the workload for about 400 to 500 people, he had to prepare all the ingredients and cook everything with no difference in quality. To be honest, it was quite a lot of work, which also allowed him to test his limits and choose an appropriate amount for delivery. By noon, Guu's knife hadn't stopped. As mealtime approached, he looked at the packed and labeled takeout with a long sigh of relief. Ninger, please post an announcement. Sure, Mooninger said. She found a perfect angle in the kitchen, took a photo of the exquisitely packaged food, and posted it on both her forum account and the Qianfu Private Chef's official platform. In an instant, both platforms became lively. People had been waiting since last night, and the delivery had finally begun. Although the non-professional delivery platform meant they couldn't track the delivery routes, seeing the beautifully packaged food made it all worthwhile. It's quite a lot, the Shinfeng Express team leader said, looking at the mountain of food boxes and feeling a bit overwhelmed. No wonder you quoted such a high price. This delivery volume is indeed daunting. Not too bad, Guu said with a smile. It's just a test to see the customer's feedback. Now, please take care of it. Payment first, then service. We'll start right away. The Shinfeng Express team, being the top delivery team in Central Plains, was well prepared. Each member had a high-end shockproof delivery box with adjustable dividers to securely hold each item. The delivery workers divided their areas to deliver all the food to the customers as quickly as possible. Once the team departed, Guu could finally take a break. After a morning of cooking non-stop, he had completed many daily tasks, gaining improvements in physique, skin, and wealth. Most importantly, he received a title, All-Round Culinary Master. Achieving this title meant that his cooking skills were now at their peak. Even without special recipes from the system, he could make divine dishes with unique attributes, such as making diners feel happy, touched, or passionate. In other words, his food was now at the level of a divine medicine. Liu Shuyun, the secretary of a medium-sized company, worked tirelessly, always under the 996 work schedule. At 30, she had never been in a relationship, her life revolving entirely around work. Xiaoyun, you seem a bit distracted today. Is something wrong? Her boss, also a strong woman, noted as she continued to work through lunch, revising plans and issuing orders. She handled almost all tasks personally. It was this dedication that allowed her to rise from the bottom to her current position. Sorry, boss, I'm a bit hungry, Liu Shuyun admitted. I ordered some takeout, and it should be arriving soon. She wasn't lying, she was genuinely hungry. She hadn't eaten anything since early morning and had been running around all day, making her feel quite shaky. No wonder. I thought you looked a bit off, her boss said, raising an eyebrow. Once the takeout arrives, eat something. If you collapse, I'll be in trouble. Xu Maiyun, accustomed to this way of working, let Liu Shuyun go to eat. As for herself, she was used to it, she ate whenever she had time to rest. Liu Shuyun had actually ordered a lot, each dish in large portions, intending to share with her boss. Despite her quirks, her boss had been very kind to her, and Liu Shuyun remembered this favor clearly. Soon, Liu Shuyun brought the takeout upstairs. It was a huge package. Boss, take a break. Let us eat together. Liu Shuyun placed the food on the conference table. As soon as the lid was opened, the rich aroma burst forth, making Xu Maiyun, who had intended to refuse, swallow her words. Cough, cough. Let us eat together. Xu Maiyun coughed lightly and decided to take a timely break to have lunch. It was too delicious to refuse. Chapter 16, an opportunity for free promotion. Is this customized by a high-end restaurant? After sitting down and seeing the exquisitely packaged takeout, Xu Maiyun instinctively asked. No, it's from a newly opened private chef. I found it through a food blogger I follow. It's a limited delivery, so if you want to try it in the future, you'll either need to make a reservation at the restaurant or grab it online, Liu Shuyun explained. Fortunately, they only deliver within the city and only for lunch, with reservations starting at 5 p.m. the day before. Liu Shuyun's favorite was the Central Plains Big Carp in sweet and sour sauce. The tangy sweetness made her mouth water. As a local grown up by the Yellow River, she had a special fondness for Central Plains Big Carp. So, she ordered a large one. Of course, this was because she trusted the food blogger who had never let her down. She wasn't short of money but didn't like wasting it. From the looks of it, this time was no exception. Everything was delicious, even better than described by the blogger. I'm starting. After taking a photo, Liu Shuyun dug into the meal. She could no longer resist, her stomach was growling. The fish was delicious, with the rich and sticky sauce perfectly blending with the fish meat, sweet, tender, and fresh. The freshness of the Central Plains Big Carp was exceptionally rich. The chef had magnified its flavor tenfold, even 100-fold, tantalizing her taste buds and making her let out an extremely embarrassing moan, "It's just too delicious." Indeed, Xu Maiyun preferred the braised noodles, while Liu Shuyun loved the traditional lamb braised noodles. It was incredibly delicious, with no hint of lamb smell. The rich and flavorful broth and the chewy noodles paired with savory lamb made it feel like being in a hot spring, waking up every cell in her body. This is really too good. Both women were overwhelmed by the deliciousness. Each dish was an exquisite delight. However, the flavor was so intense that it elicited many embarrassing reactions, even making their already cool outfits seem even cooler. By 1 p.m., Mooninger's forum was flooded with comments. All were from diners who had tasted the food, praising Mooninger's taste and expressing their satisfaction. This time, as always, there were no complaints. In fact, the reviews were even more explosive. Unfortunately, as it was a private chef, future meals would depend on their limited delivery. The most frustrating part was that delivery was still only within the city, with other areas unable to place orders. This made many food enthusiasts from outside the city envious. They vowed to travel to the Central Plains and try the food. How should I put this? The name is a bit quirky, but the reviews are really great. Why not give it a try? The location and environment are quite good as well. It would be excellent for entertaining foreign guests. A middle-aged man hiding in a forum, after repeatedly contemplating the authenticity of Mooninger's review, decided to investigate in person. If the place could host foreign guests, it would be perfect. With that thought, the middle-aged man stood up, grabbed his car keys, and set off. He was a well-known ethnic entrepreneur in the Central Plains, having created many jobs and built numerous charitable schools. Despite outside rumors, he had genuinely achieved these accomplishments. Practical entrepreneurs are highly respected by the people. GUU. A big shot is coming. Mooninger happily ran out with her phone, throwing herself onto GUU's back. The impact caused Guu to spurt tea from his nose and cough awkwardly. Ninger, are you trying to murder me? Sorry, I got too excited. Mooninger scrambled to wipe the tea off Guu's face with her handkerchief and quickly said, Mr. Jiang Qingmin, the famous philanthropist from the Central Plains, is coming to our restaurant to inspect and see if we are willing to host foreign guests. Foreign guests? Guu frowned. He had a good impression of Jiang Qingmin. Although online depictions were exaggerated, Jiang had indeed invested in and built 500 charitable schools, with high standards of construction. That alone was enough. However, the idea of hosting foreign guests made him a bit reluctant. What kind of foreign guest could make someone like him so concerned? I'm not sure. There aren't any big figures visiting China internationally at the moment. Mooninger shook her head and said. Forget that, Mr. Jiang is already at our doorstep. Just then, the doorbell rang. Guu smiled wryly. Speak of the devil, and the devil arrives. But Mr. Jiang seems quite urgent to arrive so quickly. He used his phone to open the electric door, allowing Jiang Qingmin to drive up the mountain. Guu and Mooninger waited at the entrance. Jiang Qingmin, dressed modestly, like an ordinary neighbor, got out of the car and was momentarily stunned before smiling. Miss Moo, long time no see. You know me. Mooninger was surprised. I often visit your father. Jiang Qingmin chuckled and then looked at Guu. This must be the boss of Chinfu private chef. That's right. I am. Guu nodded slightly and said, I heard from Ninger that Mr. Jiang wants to inspect my restaurant and discuss hosting foreign guests. Exactly. Jiang Qingmin nodded without further ado. It's a sudden request. The guest specifically wants to try the Central Plains big carp. I visited a few places, but none met expectations. Mr. Jiang, please have a seat. Guu invited him to sit and asked, What's the guest's identity? It's quite special. He's not a capitalist or a scientist, but someone who helped us during past wars. After so many years of peace, he has never asked for anything from us. Now, as he is getting older, he wants to visit the source of the Central Plains big carp he once tasted to fulfill a long-held wish. I see. Guu stroked his chin. As for Central Plains big carp, I'm quite skilled at it steamed, braised, sweet and sour, or in soup, all are possible. Just so happens, we have a portion for delivery at noon. Although it's a bit cold, the taste is absolutely not inferior. Would you like to try it? By the way, it's sweet and sour. Guu added. Chapter 17, Mooninger's Streamer Bestie. If you don't mind, I have no problem with that. Trying it is definitely the best option. Jiang Qingmin's impression of Guu improved significantly. Then please follow me. Guu led him to the restaurant. Jiang Qingmin was even more satisfied with the restaurant's decor. The place felt truly comfortable. Guu brought out the sweet and sour carp from the thermal box. Although it's a bit cold, I think this better reflects the chef's skills. Indeed, Jiang Qingmin didn't care too much about the temperature. From afar, he had already noticed the carp that seemed to be encased in amber. Even before tasting it, he was confident that this was the Central Plains big carp he had been looking for. Please enjoy. Guu calmly handed him the chopsticks. Mooninger, on the other hand, was a bit nervous. Though she was confident in Guu's cooking, entertaining foreign guests and meeting the taste from memory added some pressure. As the chopsticks pressed down on the carp, Jiang Qingmin's first impression was of tenderness and softness. Then there was the springiness, something that many so-called master chefs couldn't guarantee. After taking a bite, Jiang Qingmin's tense nerves relaxed. He felt as if he were elevated, immersed in the vast yellow river with countless big carps leaping around him, vivid and joyful. The deliciousness was so overwhelming it almost felt like an illusion. It took Jiang Qingmin a while to regain his composure. He hadn't felt this relaxed in a long time. This sense of ease and happiness came from nothing more than a plate of cold, sweet and sour carp. Could I have a bowl of rice? Jiang Qingmin asked somewhat bashfully. Of course, Guu didn't hesitate and went to the kitchen to get a bowl of rice. It's leftover and a bit cold, should I heat it up for you? No need. Cold is fine. Jiang Qingmin was eager to dig in. He devoured the whole big fish and 2 bowls of rice in one go. After finishing, Jiang Qingmin wiped his mouth and sighed contentedly. I've decided to host the foreign guest here. Welcome. GUU saw this as a free promotional opportunity and had no reason to refuse. Are there any specific requirements, such as the environment? As a child of a wealthy family, Mooninger was more adept at handling such details. Nothing too specific. Just that these dishes shouldn't be too strong in flavor. Having resolved a small matter, Jiang Qingmin smiled broadly. The guest has done us a favor in the past and is quite elderly now. It's not easy for him to make this trip. While delicious food is important, it shouldn't be overwhelming. Otherwise, I fear it might be too much for him. Oh. GUU was expecting more complicated requirements but was relieved to find them quite simple. The restaurant's natural setting, both exterior and interior, was top-notch. If there were any more demands, he felt he wouldn't need to take on the task. As it was, there was nothing to worry about. It also meant a free bit of publicity on TV. After discussing a few details with Jiang Qingmin, they set the date. It was sooner than expected, leaving only one day for preparation. Fortunately, he didn't need to worry about the ingredients, which saved him some trouble. Full of happiness, Mooninger, holding a cup of tea, looked at GUU as he selected dishes for the breakfast, lunch, and dinner 2 days later. Aren't you planning a state banquet? Not appropriate. GUU shook his head with a smile. A state banquet represents a different kind of occasion. If it were a public visit, a state banquet would be necessary, but since he is coming privately just to reminisce and taste authentic local food, it wouldn't be suitable. So what are you planning? Mooninger's eyes lit up. Do you want me to help you taste test? Sure. GUU put down his pen, a smile forming at the corner of his mouth. With you testing the dishes, I feel more at ease. Definitely. Mooninger put her hands on her hips proudly. I'm not sure if the elder can handle hot and spicy soup. Lunch and dinner were no problem. Big dishes were manageable. The challenge lay in breakfast, which required more consideration, especially for an elderly person. If he preferred lighter flavors, it would be easier, but without specifying preferences, it was tricky. Moreover, the guest required local specialties, adding to their complexity. Central Plains breakfast typically included spicy soup, fried dough sticks, or millet porridge. Millet porridge was too common, while spicy soup showcased local flavors more effectively. A bowl of spicy soup could wake one up for the whole day. Adjusting the spiciness slightly while retaining the flavor seemed like a good plan. Ultimately, GUU decided to include spicy soup on the menu. For lunch, the main dish would be Central Plains Big Carp, with some stir-fried dishes and rice. Dinner would be based on what the elder wanted at the time. Plans were one thing, reality another. Sometimes, overly detailed plans might not be a good thing. Just then, Mooninger's phone rang. A cheerful voice on the other end said, "Stinky, you didn't tell me about the delicious food." "Nmem." Hearing the loud voice, Mooninger couldn't help but feel a vein pop on her forehead. And then? I want to eat, I want to eat. You must have a way to get it, right? I want to eat. The caller's persistent whining made Mooninger look at GUU helplessly, seeking assistance. Sure. GUU nodded slightly, indicating she could invite her friend over for a meal. All right, all right. Mooninger, her ears red from the noise, said helplessly, I'll send you the coordinates. You have a car, right? Yay. Great, send me the coordinates. I'm coming right over. By the way, can I do a live stream? The excited girl asked. We'll talk about it when you get here. Mooninger raised an eyebrow, feeling a bit helpless. Drive safely. Got it. The girl on the other end chuckled and tossed her phone aside. Everyone, I'm going to visit my bestie and enjoy some good food. If I can, I'll live stream it for you all. Yep, it's going to be a treat. The girl on the other end sounded smug. Hee hee, I told you I'm friends with a food blogger. You didn't believe me. Your friend's personality is quite amusing. GUU touched his nose, unable to understand how Mooninger, such a goddess, could have a quirky bestie. Chapter 18, Picking Up My Little Sister from School. Not long after, a horn sounded outside, followed by a loud shout, Stinky, come out and pick me up. GUU paused his chopping and turned to look at Mooninger, who was sitting at the kitchen door with a slightly embarrassed and helpless expression. Your friend has quite a unique personality. No need to be so tactful. She's just a tomboy. Mooninger sighed and went outside. Seeing the live streaming girl clinging to Gu's car like a husky, she felt a headache. Ling Qin, you're live streaming. Can you act a bit more normal? It's not appropriate for a girl to be hanging on a car like this. Night 15. This is the car this beautiful girl has dreamed of. As a car enthusiast, Ling Qin was particularly fond of rugged vehicles. Even her current car wasn't a cute sports car or an adorable sedan but a Land Rover muscular and imposing. Compared to the car, this tall and slender beauty was also quite cute. Do you want to take a look inside? Guu came out, so the live streaming girl almost merging with the car, and smiled, pulling out a set of keys. Really? Ling Qin, a true streamer, was unabashedly eager. She looked at Guu with shining eyes. Handsome, can I experience it? This has been my biggest wish. That wish was a bit unconventional. Guu grinned and said, how about you bark like a dog? Woof woof. Guu initially just meant to tease her, but to his surprise, Ling Qin didn't mind and actually barked. This made Guu feel a bit awkward himself. He handed her the keys and said, you're really straightforward. Pfft, har har, the streamer's shamelessness is unbeatable. Rabbit has lost her online name. Ling Qin, this name doesn't suit her at all. That guy just now was so handsome. Wealthy and a good cook, simply perfect. 3 seconds, I need the handsome guy's contact info, got it. Who needs to watch the handsome guy and beautiful girl? Night 15 is the true romance of a man. Streamer, start the car. Don't take it too seriously. In the restaurant, Mooninger was a bit resigned. Ling Qin has always been so carefree and somewhat clueless. Her eagerness to bark like a dog shows how her body doesn't always keep up with her mind. She has managed to grow up this way and stay so happy. Honestly, it's quite impressive. Guu shook his head dismissively as he simmered the chicken soup on low heat. He glanced at the time and said, another hour of simmering, and it'll be ready. As soon as he finished speaking, his phone rang. It was his mother again. At this time of day, he knew what was coming. He answered, Mom, do you want me to pick up Meng Meng? This time it's a bit different. His mother's tone was heavy. I just received a call from your grandmother. She said your great-grandmother has passed away peacefully. Your father and I need to go there. Should I pick up Meng Meng and come over too? Guu had a good relationship with his great-grandmother, who had endured countless hardships but always had a warm smile. No need. Your father and I will go alone. It'll take about a week. During this week, could you please take care of Meng Meng? His mother refused directly. Got it. Guu didn't insist. After briefly comforting his mother, he turned to Mooninger. Ninger, could you help me watch the chicken soup? No. I'll go with you. Let Ling Qin look after it. Mooninger lacked confidence in her cooking skills. She was quite like her mother, though not as terrifying. Her cooking was definitely not edible. It was almost like a special ability. All right. Guu nodded. Ling Qin was indeed worth befriending. She patted her chest and assured, leave it to me. I've got the time noted, and everyone in my live stream is watching. Okay. Guu smiled and nodded. We'll be back in about an hour and a half. There are some snacks prepared in the kitchen. You can eat if you're hungry. After saying this, he and Mooninger drove away from the villa. On the city bypass, Mooninger broke the silence after a while, comforting him. Guu, don't be too sad. I'm not. Great-grandmother left with a smile. Her life was already very complete, she endured so much suffering. Guu smiled and shook his head. He wasn't being indifferent, rather, he felt that her smiling departure was a sign she didn't want them to mourn her. She had suffered enough and didn't want the younger generation to experience the same hardships. Plus, her health had always been good, so a sudden departure was just a natural end. Thus, there was no reason to be sad. He silently wished for her to be reborn into a wealthy family in the next life, free of worries and suffering. Is your little sister in high school? Seeing Gu's calmness, Mooninger shifted the topic with curiosity about how to get along with her future sister-in-law. No. I'm a bit embarrassed. My sister is still in kindergarten. Guu was excited when talking about his little sister. Who would have thought that after 3 years of college away from home, returning during the summer break would bring the surprise of a new little sibling, running towards him with short legs and calling out joyfully. Isn't she an adorable little kid? Mooninger was envious. As the only child in her family, she wished she had a younger brother or sister, but her parents weren't supportive. Yes, she's very cute, just a little one, and loves following me around. Guu smiled warmly. I think she'll like you as her big sister too. Really? Mooninger smacked her lips, her face full of fantasies. If she and Guu ended up together, wouldn't that mean she'd have a cute little sister too? Guu was so good looking his sister would surely be stunning as well. Sunshine Kindergarten was a public preschool. When Guu arrived, school had been out for half an hour. He saw his little sister, a small figure, alone in the sandbox building a castle. Meng, you're a bit late today. The woman speaking was an older sister from the same village, who had graduated from Normal University and started working at the kindergarten. She had just gotten married last year. Sis, I wasn't in the city. Guu laughed and watched as Meng, noticing him, ran over with her little backpack. He gently said, Meng, slow down, don't fall. Chapter 19, Meng's Wild Support. Guogua. You're finally here. The little girl's tiny body leaped into Guu's arms, her milk-sweet face rubbing against his cheek repeatedly. So cute. Mooninger looked at the tiny Meng with eyes full of adoration, her speech faltering with excitement. Guu, can I hold her? Your sister is just too adorable. Huh? It seemed that Meng was a bit scared of Mooninger's intense gaze and shrank back into Guu's embrace, cautiously eyeing Mooninger. Guogua, who is this beautiful sister who looks like my teacher? Meng, today is Friday, so we have a 2-day weekend. Remember to bring Meng back before 8 a.m. on Monday. Keek reminded Guu once more, be careful on the road and make sure Meng doesn't run around. Got it, sis. Guu chuckled and walked towards the car with Meng, introducing her. This is my girlfriend, Mooninger. You can call her sister. Yes. Call her sister. Mooninger's face was full of anticipation. Sister. Meng scrunched up her face, looking distressed. Is this sister serious? Both Guu and Mooninger were taken aback. Is there a serious and not so serious sister? This sister looks very rich at first glance. Brother, are you planning to marry into her family? The little head was full of big questions and unexpected comments, making Guu's face darken. What are you talking about, you little rascal? All right. Get in the car, and let us head back. To a very beautiful place. After Guu opened the car door, Meng immediately covered her mouth in astonishment. Such a big car, even bigger than Daddy's car. It's so spacious and not cramped at all. Dad's car was a small cherry, very compact. The car's small size made it feel even more crowded when Meng moved around. The car was originally small and cute and was now an old car about to be retired. Since Guu didn't have a stable job and hadn't found a wife, his meticulous father was reluctant to replace the car. Sitting in this large vehicle, the contrast was immediately apparent. Guogua, I want to sit in the back and play. Meng wiggled her small body towards the back. Guu smiled helplessly. Then you'll have to sit with the big sister. With the big sister? The little cutie looked up at Mooninger. Mooninger also looked at the little cutie with full expectation. After some consideration, the little cutie finally decided to interact with Mooninger. Reluctantly extending her chubby arm, she said, Sister, hug. Oh my. So adorable. Mooninger was ready and quickly embraced her, taking a deep breath. Wow, you really smell milky and sweet. So cute. Sister, you're hugging too tightly. Meng's small face wrinkled up in displeasure, full of distaste. Cough. Sorry. Got a bit too excited. Mooninger quickly composed herself and placed Meng in the back seat. She then sat in the back seat herself, propping up her chin as she watched Meng take out toys from her bag and play quietly. So cute. So well behaved. Mooninger's eyes were full of affection. But if you think she's this well behaved, you'd be very wrong. Guu knew his little sister very well. This child was quite mischievous. Right now, Meng Meng was just not familiar with Mooninger. Once she got used to Mooninger, she would definitely not be this well behaved. Gu smiled and shook his head. Meng Meng, you need to behave. I'm lying down properly. The back seat space was large, and to Meng Meng, it looked like a bed. She lay down playing with puzzles. I'll keep an eye on her. Just drive safely, Mooninger said softly, sitting next to Meng Meng. Meng Meng, can I play with you? Meng Meng tilted her head, looking at Mooninger with her big, watery eyes. Then can you give me a niece, and I'll play with you Tilder. As expected. When Mooninger tried to engage her, Meng Meng's replies were astonishing. A niece from sister. Mooninger was stunned, unable to help but look at Guu. Guu appeared calm on the surface, fully focused on driving, as if he hadn't heard anything. But inside, he was giving a thumbs up to his little sister. But I'm not married to your brother yet, so I can't have a baby to play with you. Mooninger's face turned slightly red. Then marry brother. Sister is so pretty, I'd definitely welcome you to my home.